morning. How are you doing today? I hope that the sound of my voice reaches you today in good spirits. I hope that you're in good health. I hope that you find a way to have a good day today, despite any of the other circumstances in your life. I hope that you're able to smile. I hope that you're able to experience joy. I believe all that's important. I'm making this video today because I have something on my heart and in my spirit that I want to share. I had a very profound, deep conversation with someone very close to me last night. And it was really eye-opening, man. Like when I make content, whether it's something that I write or it's audio or it's a video, whether it's streaming, basically anytime I have a presence in the digital world, my main motivation is, number one, to be 100% genuine, to be honest, not only with my viewer or whoever's consuming the content, but honest with myself as well. This may be hard to believe, but everyone knows there's a lot of people on the interwebs who are not authentic, okay? So I don't want to ever be a different person off camera than when I am on camera. I've never desired to be one person behind closed doors, but be completely different in public. And it's not impossible. It's not make-believe. Like the same way I don't feel comfortable lying to other people. I don't lie to myself. And this conversation that I was a part of, man, I'm a person who's really into self-improvement, just trying to better myself, because in honest moments, when you're critiquing yourself, you're evaluating your progress on something or going over something. If you are seeking to end the day in a better place than when you began it, or leave the world a better place than when you came to it, like I said before, you have to be honest, not only with other people, but with yourself. And, another facet of that is, if you are the type of person who is do as I say, not as I do, those types of people are willing to hold other people accountable for their actions, but unwilling to do it for themselves. Like an easy example is a strict parent or something that don't want you to drink or smoke. But outside of them cosplaying a role model or whatever, they're off camera getting blitzed every chance they get, right? Which to me is like completely hypocritical. So like I can't be that way. I need to be able to, however I find a way to lay my head on the pillow at night, I want to be comfortable with that person, to be able to fall asleep easily if I can, to wake up and not have anything on my heart or weighing on my chest about anything from the previous day. One of the deepest parts of this conversation was, if you haven't seen any of my older videos or don't know much about me or anything, my content or any of that stuff, humbly speaking, I would like to say that I have made a lot of progress from where I began as far as character, morals, stuff like that. Responsibility, maturity, the whole 9 yards. And like, unlike some conventional wisdom in relationships with people, you don't need a yes man. You don't need someone to quote unquote shine you on. I believe that in an interpersonal relationship, a person can hold so much more value if they're just genuine with you. If someone keeps it 100 with you, even when you're making mistakes or when you do something outside of your own character, if they really love you, if they really care for you, if they're really in your corner, they really got your back, they'll call you on it. Now, depending upon your relationship or maybe your personal makeup, the delivery could change. I think if you really give a shit, you don't necessarily do it with kid gloves if you don't have to, but you're not so brutal that you can't get your point across without hurting someone. Because it was brought to my attention that someone believes that facets of my personality and my character that I have displayed in my younger years that are still present with me today. And I was taken aback. Not in a negative way, though. Like, usually when you hear that phrase, it's like, clutch my pearls kind of thing, or I'm offended, or no, that wasn't what I felt. In the moment, I was placid because it kind of stopped me. Because throughout life, man, if some of the things that I spoke about in the beginning of the video are important to you about yourself, these are things that you're going to evaluate on a continual basis, or else you're not going to make any progress. And in a perfect world, you can snap your finger and get rid of any vices, any shortcomings, any failures. You can just blot out all that stuff and you're going to get it all right the first time because you're omnipotent, But here in the real world, it doesn't quite work that way, But if I'm into being genuine, I'm into being the same person that I am when I'm away from you that when I'm in your face. I don't want to be the kind of person who says one thing and does another. I don't want to be a two-faced person who talks shit about you behind your back, but they're brown nosing you in your face. Like I can't be that, you know. But if I really love and care for someone, I'll take criticism even if it's harsh. Okay? So like if you're a perfect stranger, right? I'll take constructive criticism from a fucking person standing on the corner out there that's stuck. Because if you can remove your ego, okay, and someone gives you constructive criticism, technically you shouldn't be offended by it. No matter their station in life, no matter how they compare to you, that's what the whole phrase is. Constructive criticism is not the same thing as criticism. You know? But me personally, if I genuinely give a fuck about you, I care about you, I love you, I value your opinion, okay? It matters a lot less to me your delivery, you know? Even if you're frank, even if you use colorful language, or you're not going out of your way to like necessarily make sure, make sure that you're not hurting my feelings or whatever. Because, you know, I'm quite the sensitive person, you know. Yeah, I can take that, you know. And it actually can be more effective when you're using that method with me personally, you know. So the person is kicking some knowledge to me about their own observations of me in certain aspects at different points in times, you know. And if one of my goals in life is to become a better person and constantly improve in different areas, I have to be receptive to these things. Now, you know, like, unless someone has some type of ulterior motive for what they're trying to convey to me, I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that I could be a person to be open-minded to listen to what they're saying, you know? So with all that stuff being said, right, this is where the honesty with yourself comes in, okay? And like, on the net, people are not themselves, man. It's sometimes it's hard to be a part of it because people are so fake and phony, man. And why do I say that? Because right now I'm gonna take the time to say something and go into something about myself that I see people go out of their way to fudge and fake and bullshit on the internet all day long. And I don't make no money out of this shit. I'm talking about people whose livelihoods is based around shit like this, right? As a young person, I was selfish. I not only wanted to have my cake and eat it too, I wanted your slice too. But for me, I love intellectual pursuits. So whether for good or for bad, I would much prefer to talk you out of something than to strong arm you for it. To convince you to hand it over to me willingly without you even realizing it. You know? When you have personality traits like that, one of the things that come with it is being manipulative. You know? And I wholeheartedly believe that things like that, a vital key to that is your intention. You know, because to me that makes or breaks the case on whether you're a shithead or not, right? And so I mentioned selfishness, I mentioned manipulation. As a younger person, my ego was out of control. My head was so fucking big Someone else that I care for will joke with me all the time and tell me, deflate your head. Like, joking with me about it, not being serious. But I'm such a sensitive person. The first thing I think of is, fuck, I struggle so much to kill ego. To be, you're human, so at the end of the day, to be like ego adjacent and not have your ego drive everything in your life, because it can be toxic. I've never, in all honesty, I've never not been a loyal person to people in my life. Okay, I've been loyal. At times, though, my chief concern or motivator was my own benefit. What could I get out of someone? What could I get out of any given situation that would advance my agenda, ideology, or be a means to an end for me? Despite how it affected you, whether it caused you pain, whether you endured emotional stress or any of that stuff. As long as I got what I wanted in the end, none of that other shit mattered to me. So this person is going in depth with their observations, right? And I'm using certain terminology because I am not that person today. Like my birthday, my social, shit like that hasn't changed, but the person has changed. The intention, the character, the set of moral guidelines that I follow, it's a completely different script. If you knew me in my teenage years or my early 20s, yeah, this is a different person, And it doesn't, when someone is helping you, right? And, like somebody may phrase it like this, telling you about yourself, right? It doesn't sting if you know it's coming from a good place. Like they're not doing it to boost up their sales. They're not doing it to take advantage of you. They are not satisfying their own pleasure of seeing someone else squirm. They're just keeping it a buck with you, right? That's shit that I really value, but what do you do in those moments if you disagree? If you value the other person's opinion and you care about what they think about you, and you also are careful with their emotional state, I would say that I beg to differ. Not that I completely dismiss their point, or I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, right? But I couldn't live with myself if I was that person still, because in my journey, man, the things that I enjoy about my life today that are wonderful, like almost exclusively, are because of these foundational changes that I made within myself, but not just by myself either. It's not been all TJ. It's like seeking counsel, taking advice, therapy, counseling, exercise, my diet, just a lot of stuff, man. That takes being open-minded and introspection, and be willing to do the work and the research and reading actual books or medical journals or whatever it takes, man, to, like I said a few moments ago or whatever, to not only be a better person than I was yesterday, but leave the world in a better place than which I found it. And I have woven this tapestry and this soliloquy just to highlight the fact that I love that person for keeping it real with me on what they thought. Even though I disagree with the particular point about me being that way today, I found tremendous value in it. I'm going to use these last few seconds to wrap it up and explain why. Because when I woke up this morning, it hit me in a different kind of way, man. I'm like, have I made no progress? Well, I know better than that, but something in that conversation, something in that delivery struck a chord with me, you know? But sometimes in life, this shit is a process. It's a ride. It's not all going to come to you in that first lap or whatever way you want to, whatever metaphor, whatever way you want to explain it, right? And as I'm going through my morning routine today, I'm replaying it and I'm trying to wrap my head around it, trying to understand it from a different angle. And in the amount of time that I've turned it over a few times since then, I think that they may be right in certain aspects, but I don't look to harm anyone, you know? If I want to cause harm or damage or whatever, I want it to be intentional. I don't want no strays. Because that's one of my things that I don't never want to be misunderstood. You know, if I don't like you, or like I don't want to have middle ground. I'm either hot or cold, either I fuck with you or I don't, etc., etc. So I talked about wrapping it up. I think that it's very interesting, and I'm into learning and stuff too, right? So as I carry forward with my day, I want to take into my day like ways for me to use this, not only to improve myself but to help other people. You know, because that's shit that gets me up in the morning. That's shit that I work on a day-to-day basis, not just with myself, but in counsel to other people. And if I want to be a help to other people, you know, I got to practice what I preach. I can't kick some shit to you that I don't live by, you know? Thank you for stopping by and listening. I hope you have a wonderful day. Come check me out again. I'm TJ.